Test 1, 2. And test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Madison, do you have the first starting notes for When I Lift My Voice?
First one?
So, this is a little different in-gathering song today, and Kathy's going to start singing. I will join her, and people who have come to Justice Choir can join in whenever they get to the refrain, or as soon as they go.
Whenever you're comfortable doing so.
Yeah, and then everybody join in, and we'll be prompted by what's up there on the screen. And normally I don't wear t-shirts to church, especially if I'm leading, but I thought this one was appropriate.
When I lift my voice, let it be in song, a defiant note in the face of wrong. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, it will only unite us. I lift my voice. When I lift my voice, let it be for good. Let me care as much as I know I should. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always justified. When they try to divide us, it will only unite us. I lift my voice.
Lovely.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I finally got it. Woohoo! Welcome to all who've joined us online and in person. My name is Bryan, and my pronouns are he, him. We're glad that everyone is with us today. And before I go any further, thank you, Carrie, for this beautiful stole. It's even two-sided. I have a few announcements to share, and then I'll open it up to the floor for announcements. Today, Music Sunday, and also it is our final service for the regular church year. Our next service will be the second Sunday in June, and that's June 14th. We will be celebrating Pride Sunday that Sunday, and I've got the stole to match it already. Yay! All right. Carrie is already busy planning the 2026-27 Sunday services. If you have any questions about faith, religions, or social issues, or know anyone that you might think would make an interesting guest speaker, please let Carrie know or mention it to me or really anybody, and it'll get back to Carrie, and then we'll work on it. So we would love to have lots of diversity in our speakers, and you know, if you have any more questions about that, please feel free to pose those questions during our time after service during treats. June 6th is Pride in the Park in Northfield. If you're interested in attending with the group from Dakota, please see Kelly. Almost every announcement says, please see Kelly. Although Carrie got one today, that's good. Interested in sacred sites, and tour guided by one of our speakers named Jim Bear Jacobs. If you are, please indicate your interest and sign up, and we'll notify you when that date is set. So that's going to be a guided tour by Jim Bear Jacobs through sacred sites. And see Kelly for that too? Okay. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. Thank you. Any other announcements? Dawn.
The Cups group is going to have its first full moon walk. Should be really interesting. It's the 29th of this month. It's a Friday, so the 29th, I believe, at 8 o'clock at Kaposia Park in South St. Paul. Again, that's May 29th, Kaposia Park, 8 o'clock.
And we'll put it in the newsletter.
Other announcements? One final announcement from me. I will also put this in the newsletter next week. We have our annual Midsummer Jubilee. We did it a little earlier last year, and so we thought maybe, you know, because of this interesting weather that we have, we'll go ahead and, you know, do it in the month of June. Also gives us more time to prepare. So it's on June the 20th from 1 to 4. We'll have lots of things going on that day. All are welcome. And then also that evening at 6:30, we're going to have a solstice service on property as well. And Don will probably share more about that in the newsletter. Last call. Seems weird saying that from this place, but last call. Well, I invite you now to take a slow, deep, gentle breath and to exhale just as intentionally. Let us try to separate ourselves from the chaos of the world and join together in this time as we meditate to this prelude. I now ask you to rise as you are able or willing and join us in our opening words. In every generation, people have gathered in song, not because that was easy, but because the human spirit needed courage. Songs have carried people through marches and movements, through grief and hope, through resistance and renewal. Today, as we close another church year together, we remember that music is more than performance. It is testimony, it is memory, it is protest, it is prayer, it is love in action. We gather this afternoon mindful of a world still wounded by violence, division, fear, and injustice. We hold close all who suffer from hatred, displacement, fear, and injustice, and hold close all who suffer from hatred, displacement, and systems that diminish human dignity. And we honor those who continue to raise their voices for compassion, justice, and peace, even when doing so is difficult. Let us light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, not as a light that ignores suffering, but as a light that shines within it. May this flame remind us that music can unite what fear divides, that love is stronger when shared aloud, and that together our voices still have power to tell the world towards justice and peace. Therefore, in the spirit of song, courage, and hope, we light our chalice and say together, may the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, to serve you, Spirit of freedom, in the fullness of community.
Okay, please stay standing. And it may feel awkward at first. Oh, Kathy has a poem, and then I'm going to introduce the song, but it's a short poem, so sit if you like. But first.
The arrow in the song. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth I knew not where. For so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke. And the song, from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend.
Okay, so now if you will rise, if you're willing and able. And so this is a rhythm song, and I'd like you to go ahead and be willing to move your body a little bit. And I'm going to play this box here. And Kathy's going to lead the song.
And if you have the sheet music, it's number 22, 1 Foot Lead with Love, right? That's the one we're doing? Okay. You gotta put 1 foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put 1 foot in front of the other and lead with love again. You gotta put 1 foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put 1 foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put 1 foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put 1 foot other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
May be seated. I was trying to do that. I swear I was in marching band when I was in high school and college, but apparently I forgot how to keep step. This is our beloved community moment. At the center of our Unitarian Universalist values is love. Love that calls us toward justice, equity, transformation, interdependence, and generosity. Today, on this Music Sunday, we honor all those who helped move humanity forward. Those who marched in the streets, those who sang freedom songs, those who organized quietly behind the scenes, those who wrote courageous words anonymously for fear of persecution, and those whose names history may never fully remember. We remember that progress is rarely carried by famous people alone. It is also carried by ordinary people who choose compassion over silence, courage over comfort, and hope over despair. May we continue that work in our own time with our voices, our actions, our music, and our love. It's the time during the service when, if you feel moved to do so, you may come up, light a candle, and share a joy and or concern. Anyone online, please let us know, and Chuck will light one on your behalf. And at the very end, I will light a final candle for all the joys and concerns that have not been spoken.
So I'm just lighting this candle for the past year, the program that Bryan put together and all the work that Carrie has done this past year. Just really appreciate what you two have done. And then also for all of our music people, Maddie, Suki isn't here, Chuck, Kathy, and everybody that joins in, and our council that's been here, and all of you that make Dakota UU what it is. So just candle for the joy of everybody.
First, I second everything that Jim just said, totally. I have one sad thing, the rest are all happy, but most of you remember Mike Betting, and I stopped in the store and he wasn't there. They said that his sister had passed. So I'll be reaching out to him. I don't know when exactly, but he had been off work and he was coming back. So on to the happy stuff. I realize I still have these on. I had surgery for cataracts and glaucoma in one eye. And I'm just so grateful that they can do that. And we talked about that song, I Can See the Light in the Clear Blue Morning. The next morning I looked up and it was lighter. And just you said how things that you thought were yellow are really white.
My hair.
Yeah. The bald eagle took off from my shore and said, "Look how white my tail is." And I've just been really loving looking out the window, and I've been seeing all these animals a lot. I mean, my vision wasn't that bad, but just because I'm looking up more because it's prettier, including a turkey swimming in the lake. I know, even my naturalist, do you know that? Do they do that? Yes. All right, I knew you would know something about that. Very cool, I've never seen it. And then the one other thing, oh, I know you want to know if Greenie came back.
Yes.
And every year I go, it'd be a miracle if he did. Well, Slim is back, his mate, very friendly, lots of little ones friendly, and there was one that looked just like Greenie but was smaller, and I thought it can't be Greenie, but he was friendly. He just made a nest right next to my butt dock. So clearly that's Greenie Jr., and he's gonna continue the tradition. So what could be better?
Well, as crazy as it sounds, we got our pool open. And it's already been swam in, even though it's not warm. The highest it's gotten up to is 68 degrees. And Belle was the first one in when it was 52. She got to walk across and walk back because it's not safe to swim in at that point. But and then I passed all my certifications for my new job, and I get to go on my own on Monday, which is a good and bad thing.
So watch out for you.
I forgot to do this announcement, so I'm going to light a challah. Gardening is my happy place, one of my happy places, and I gardened yesterday, put in the rest of my seedlings because we're leaving to see our grandbaby on Wednesday, and needed to get it in, and it was supposed to rain today, so anyway, the long story is shortened by saying I have extra tomato plants and zucchini plants if anybody wants them. They're at the back table. Please help yourself. And if not, if you don't want them, I'm going to donate them to the community garden here at church.
A little bit longer. Needs just a little more time on the flame, I think. She's got it.
Come on, you can do it. It's going great now. Well, daughter Holly, the other Holly, just spent a month in South America, and she wanted to spend her birthday, her 60th birthday, I hate even to say the age of my kids, but in the Galapagos, and that's where she just spent the last week. She got to see Machu Picchu as well earlier in the trip, and she should be in the air flying back to rainy England right now.
Concern and a joy. A concern about package delivery guys who leave packages right in front of your door, so you walk out your front door holding stuff, you don't see it, and you fall down and hurt your wrist. And a joy, because it didn't hurt immediately, so I went and babysat for my grandkids for all day on Saturday, and it started to hurt more and more and more and more until I was just ice. And then a little boy across the street came to play, and I said, yeah, you play, so I can just sit here and be grumpy. And then his dad came to get him for supper. His dad is an osteo-something specialist in sports medicine for one of the professional sports teams here in town, who did his thesis on wrist injuries. So it's like I told him when I was doing it, oh! So then he diagnosed it and wrapped it and gave me painkillers and told me what to do. And it's just one of those things, like, you know, when you need someone, they just show up.
A house call. That's what we call the fickle figure of fate. I just have to say that a friend of ours, he got hit by a car coming out of church. And now he has had 2 surgeries and rods in his back. He was in rough shape before that, so. But then the joy, we went up north, and the warblers are just intense. They're just thousands darting around. It was just everywhere, so joyful. So wonderful spring.
I just realized I don't know if I should do yellow or blue or if it matters, but my name is Dion, and I'm actually a member of Spirit of Life, but I wanted to speak for Spirit of Life to say a joy for us is to have all of you here, and I personally just am so intrigued by your faith and what you do, and so I'm joining you, if you don't mind, every once in a while. So that's my joy, both from Spirit of Life, for having all of you here. But for me personally, I've got to know some of you, and that's really neat. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
This is for my friend Justin and his wife Carly, who just had their second kid this week.
This is a double. So Tuesday was my son Aaron's 44th birthday. And excuse me, he's had a rough couple of years, but I think things are looking up for him, so that's good. And also for my brother, he and his wife have just bought a house. They were living in a really small apartment with also for her grown son, so now they can have some room. I hope everything works out for them.
Before I light the final candle, I'm a little more off than usual. I realize I'm almost always off, but this week was really challenging for my family. My cousin whom I've referred to a couple of times, the only family member that I have that I still have a relationship with. She has a daughter who I guess is my second cousin, twice removed or whatever. Anyways, she and her husband have been trying to have a child for 5 years, and she gave birth on Thursday, but unfortunately on Friday, their baby passed away. So it has been a pretty challenging week. I'm profoundly affected by it because these are my family, and I know how you all feel about that too, about our families. So, but I also have a joy. If you've ever watched my Facebook, I do post lots of pictures of animals. But I will share the story later because I don't have time to do it here. But I have 4 of the most precious little geese that have a history. Well, they don't particularly have a history, but their breed has a history with my family and with the abolitionist movement in the South. So if you like treats like I do, talk to me about cotton patch geese at the end. And now I'll light a final candle for all the joys and concerns that remain unspoken. May we know that whatever befalls us in life, we are held in the loving embrace of this community. And now we say, for all the joys and concerns, both spoken and unspoken, we hold you in our hearts. So this is one of those when I had this whole idea, nice, wonderful presentation, I thought. And then it dawned on me during this time with my family this week that I was reminded of something that I had actually really forgotten about. And it has, I think, a lot to do with what we're celebrating today on Music Sunday with songs of freedom and protest. My cousin reminded me after our family meeting about all the good that she feels like I've done in the world. And I was like, I do what I can. And that's probably how most of us feel in here. We do what we can, but it seems like it's never enough. But as a short history, way back in the early 90s, after I had been teaching for 2 years in St. Louis Public Schools, I decided to buy my first house. Mostly because the St. Louis Public School System gave an incentive if you lived in the city, because so many teachers lived out in the county and were not connected with the local community. And why not? I mean, I was 20-something. Why not just buy a house? Well, I learned a lot more about buying houses later, but I digress. I bought a house in a neighborhood called Soulard. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with St. Louis, but Soulard is the home of the second largest farmers market in the United States, the first being the French Quarter in New Orleans. And St. Louis itself is a Cajun city, as I have probably referred to before. And shortly after I bought my house, there was a movement that had been created by the 2 local grocery store chains, Schnucks and Dierbergs, to actually try to close down the farmers market, citing health concerns, citing all kinds of other things, that big corporations try to do in order to create a market for themselves. And one of the main reasons, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons I wanted to move to that area is because of my own Cajun ancestry and the love of the idea of having a farmer's market involving local community people coming in, not only selling farm goods, but it was also the home of St. Louis Bread Company. And if you're not familiar, that's Panera. It began in St. Louis at the French Quarter Market, and it's still, if you visit St. Louis today, it's still called the St. Louis Bread Company, although the font looks exactly like Panera. And I realize the corporation's been sold, but it still has a history because that St. Louis Bread Company always had, from the very beginning, a policy that if you walked in there and said you were hungry and you had no money, you did not leave without something to eat. And that's what began the St. Louis Bread Company. And that was how this community was. Now, my parents assumed that I moved there for a couple of reasons. One, they said, well, you know, I know why you moved there, because it's the home of Anheuser-Busch. And then my dad says, no, he really moved there because it's home of the oldest gay bar west of the Mississippi. But neither of those things, well, I mean, I do like beer, but neither of those things were the reason. I loved that community. It was such an amazing place. And the music director of my school, where I taught, the middle school where I was teaching, also lived in Soulard, and she told me about a protest that was going to be planned to protest this movement to shut down the farmers market. And she asked if I wanted to be a part. Well, of course I did. I had a lot more energy then than I do now. And so, because I was a frequent customer to St. Louis Bread Company, because they have great treats, they had put a podium out in front of their store, and I was asked to give a speech of some sort because I had the Cajun ancestry and because I had just moved into the neighborhood, and part of the reason was because of the farmers market. If you ever get to St. Louis and you want to, please visit the farmers market. I'm not being paid any marketing for that, but it's really awesome. If you can't get to the one in New Orleans, which is also awesome. Well, I even said this in my ordination exam. That is when I understood that I had the call to ministry. Because when I walked up on that podium and I looked out at the faces of literally thousands of people who looked really frustrated. We've had that recently in America, haven't we? I didn't really know what to say. I had, again, something planned like I had today. And I began to speak from my heart, as I am often wont to do. And I ended with the phrase, so, you know, you should tell all your friends to meet me in St. Louis, because I'm also a lover of musicals. And to see the history of that, part of my talk was the reason why the 1904 World's Fair was actually able to be held in St. Louis was because of the farmers market being able to get all the goods that they needed to have a World's Fair. There's a connection. And so, of course, Meet Me in St. Louis, the musical with Judy Garland, is Meet Me in St. Louis. And as soon as I said that, the choir director, and Kathy reminds me so much of her, she stepped up on the podium without being invited, and she got in front of the microphone show. She said, she started with the first verse of Meet Me in St. Louis, and then the entire crowd started singing Meet Me in St. Louis. I'm not going to try. Not again. And all of a sudden, I realized how much music can bring us together, and how much pride I had in being able to come and be a part of a group that was preventing big money and big corporations and the powerful to come in and take over what was put together by local people for hundreds of years. And it's part of a cultural identity to not only a neighborhood, but it is actually very well known around the St. Louis and the larger Missouri, Illinois area. And you know, for the little part that I played in it, that stopped. What happened? And the farmers market is still there. And it's still thriving. And I visit every time I visit St. Louis. And what's the only difference that I can see from the time that speech that I made, that I don't even remember all of what I said, the only thing that's changed is that there's a huge banner on every one of the runs, they call them, of where the market is. It says, Meet Me in St. Louis. Music brings us together. And it's also a way, as I've said before, no matter what's going on in the world around us, in our personal lives, things happening in our family that are out of our control, we still have a responsibility to maintain joy in whatever way we can. And for many of us, Music brings that joy. It sustains that joy. It perpetuates the joy, and it is contagious. And as I said, I wouldn't even begin to try to sing Meet Me in St. Louis, and I'm sorry I came up with this idea too late to tell Kathy and Chuck about it. Oh, she's got it. All right. So now I'm going to say, meet me at Dakota UU.
Thank you, Bryan. So we're going to sing a bunch of songs, but before we do, I want to extemporize, is that the right word? A little bit myself, so this is kind of scary. But Meet Me in St. Louis is not, I wouldn't consider a spiritual song or a protest song or a song of social justice or anything like that. But Arlo Guthrie tells a story where he was in like Denmark or somewhere in Europe, and a big crowd, and they were singing all the old, all the old folk protest songs and stuff like that, and everybody was singing along, and it was great. And as kind of filler, he did the old Elvis Presley song, Wise men say only fools rush in. I can't help falling in love with you. All right, so, and after they got done singing it, as soon as he started, everybody joined in. Oops, everybody joined in. And he said, you don't need a protest song or a folk song or whatever to make social change. You just need those connections. So one thing that's happened in the past 8 months, 10 months or whatever, a year, is we've had all these social upheaval, and people have been inspired to write new material. And so we're going to feature some of that new material that's been written. And we're going to start with one called Hold On. Is that right? Yes, Hold On. And we're just going to sing it. And
Join in when you feel
and the
moved
words
to
will
do
be up
so.
there, and just join in when you feel recognize it. But I'm not going to play this thing.
Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn. Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
One more.
Hold on, hold on, my dear ones, here comes the dawn.
And I think what's next is Carrie has an experience to share with you of when she went down to one of the protests.
Kathy had tipped me off that there would be protests at the Whipple building the morning after Renee Good's murder. And so I decided to go because I felt pretty strongly that I should not be going to work every morning without knowing that this community does not consider murder to be part of their job description. But Kathy made me promise that I'd stay at the back. I took the blue line before dawn to the Whipple building and joined hundreds that were lining the sidewalk in front of the building. As the agents came to work that morning, they formed a line between us and the building, and so we were facing them. Tear gas canisters were launched, but the wind wasn't blowing very hard, so you could stay clear. You could see where it was drifting. But still, I thought it wise to stand at the end of the line nearest the metro station so that I could make a quick getaway if I had to, because that's the best I could do to keep my promise to Kathy. Fewer protesters were there, and I did find myself directly in front of the ICE agents, right 4 or 5 feet ahead of us. Up close, in their ridiculous costumes, you could see that they were just normally flawed human beings in a really weird situation, no more uncertain of what was going to happen next than we were. And the protester next to me understood his job to be shouting a stream of profanity and obscenity and insults at these ICE agents not 5 feet in front of him at the top of his lungs, which I didn't like, but oh well. And then as soon as he stopped to take a breath, I looked the ICE agent right in front of me in the eye, and I said, "You don't have to do this. You're a good person. You know right from wrong. You can quit your job and join us in protecting our neighbors and our constitutional liberties." And he looked away. A minute later, the order came to push us back across the street. And the ICE agent that was standing in front of the guy beside me shoved him in the chest. "Get back." And the ICE agent that was standing in front of me took me by the elbow and said, "Look out, there's a patch of ice behind you, be careful." And so words matter, people are human, and our neighbors are our neighbors no matter what their job is or what they're wearing. So that's my story.
So I'm not sure if it was Brandy Carlisle who started this song or wrote this song, but she used this song in Minneapolis during one of the protest times. And Kathy, if you could just start us off.
So this is what we can sing to those ICE agents, just like Carrie did. It's okay to change your mind, show us your courage, leave this behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind, and you can join us here anytime. Oh, it's okay to change your mind, show us your courage, leave this behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind, and you can join us at any time. Love that.
And so part of the service today is to go from protest and social change and struggle to music also has the power to give us calm emotions and focus on beauty and things like that. So we're going to intersperse Madison instrumental music for that purpose. And then we'll move, if we have time, to a little bit of congregational reflection. This one's called Liberty and Justice for All.
So we're going to do the refrain first, and then there's a call and response verse. And if you have those little packets, it's number 14, Liberty and Justice for All. I think it's on the back of the first page, something like that. Love, give it. Our voices are united, louder than hate. We have gathered here. We've had all we can take. The time has come, you will hear our call. We're fighting for liberty and justice for all. We are frightened. We are frightened. We are angry. We are angry. We are rising. Rest. We are rising. We are hopeful. We are hopeful. We are peaceful. We are peaceful. We are striving. We are striving. Won't stop fighting. Won't stop fighting. Won't stop marching. Won't stop marching. Won't stop dreaming. Won't stop dreaming. Won't stop loving. Won't stop loving. And proclaiming. And proclaiming. And believing. And believing. Refrain. Our voices are united, louder than hate. We have gathered here. We have all we can take. The time has come. We will hear our call. We're fighting for liberty and justice for all.
And then move forward with love.
Move forward with love.
This is a local composer.
Yeah, Jane Ramsey Miller is a choral composer in the local community, and she is awesome. And I just want you to note that the last word of the song is capitalized. This one is for Nicole. Let us move forward with love, embrace our worldwide neighborhood, move forward with love, move forward for good. Let us sing. Let us sing forward with love, embrace our worldwide neighborhood, sing forward with love, sing forward for good. Let us breathe. Let us breathe forward with love, embrace our worldwide neighborhood, breathe forward with love, breathe forward for good. Let us move. Let us move forward with love, embrace our worldwide neighborhood, move forward with love, move forward for good.
I invite congregational reflection, and as we do that, I'll transition myself to the piano. Carry on.
We have just a couple of minutes, but if somebody has some reflection.
Reflections, questions.
That's kind of fun. All right, well, we can, if you think of things, talk about it over treats. And Brian's going to play We Shall Overcome. Good classic. A lot of history.
You may play through it forward. I was going to move forward in love. Should we play through it first? I'll just play through the whole song first, but please rise as you're able.
you have some reflections, some closing words?
Meet me at Dakota UU 2026-2027 church year. Don't forget the summer. May it be so. Be blessed.
Okay, we've got one final thing. The postlude is a singing postlude this time.
Oh, you're good.
And join us when you are feeling comfortable doing so.
Oh, you're fine. Hard to be awake and hard to keep the faith, but feeling slightly better, singing with you. Feeling kind of numb as fire burns the world, but a step towards rebuilding is singing with you. Watching fear and violence, watching voices silenced, giving thanks to still be singing with you. Fill the streets with music, make our voices louder. There is joy and power in singing with you. So I stay awake and try to keep the faith, 'cause I'm feeling slightly better, singing with you. Feeling slightly better, singing with you. Feeling slightly better, singing with you.
Thank you all. Go in peace. Have a great month of June.
Let us eat treats.
Wait. I'm singing in the coffee hour.